Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Everyday Excellence. I'm your host, Todd Baldwin, and today we have Denise Steidinger, the owner of ZebraScapes. Denise, how are you doing?
Great.
I appreciate you being on here, Denise. Like I said, I really enjoy talking to entrepreneurs, so thank you for the time. We're hopping on our show. So let's dive in here, Denise. For people meeting you the first time, tell us what ZebraScapes is, where you're located, and what areas do you serve?
ZebraScapes is a full service landscaping company. We are based in Prescott, Arizona. For those of you that don't know where Prescott's at, we are centrally located between Phoenix and Flagstaff. And we're a full service landscaping company. So we do design, build, installation, construction. We do residential and commercial maintenance, tree service, cleanups, irrigation, and snow removal.
Okay. And what all areas do you serve out of the Phoenix area?
The Quad City area, which is Prescott, Prescott Valley, Chino Valley, Dewey, Humboldt, and we're breaking into the Sedona, Cottonwood, Verde Valley area.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, I know, you and I had visited before, and I love your story of how you got started uh, in as a business owner, entrepreneurial journey. So if you wouldn't mind, take us back and tell us how this all got started, because it's not what I would say in a traditional way. So I'd love for our audience to hear your story.
Yeah, so my husband and I grew up in Illinois on farms, and we moved to Arizona in 2007. The economy was booming here, and my husband worked for a landscape company. And not long after we got to Arizona, the economy took a big turn. And so, about a year and a half into being out here, that landscape company that he worked for closed up shop. A lot of companies were going out of business, and the economy had taken a big hit. And we didn't really know what else to do. We had three very small children at the time. My husband had gotten a job as a night manager at a factory, and we really didn't aspire to own our own business or had never really dreamt of that. But we really were just trying to survive. And so we started our own business and named it TK Haley Yard Care after our three daughters, Trinity, Kylie, and Haley. And put them in strollers, walked up and down sidewalks, knocked on doors, said, "Can I do any yard work for you?" And that's how literally it was born. We had like a minivan and a trailer, and kind of build up enough work to buy a string trimmer and then buy a blower and then like every little piece of equipment. So that's how
Yes.
it's born.
Excuse me. So I love it because you guys are like almost just out of necessity. Hey, we've got some experience on landscape. Let's figure it out. So what do you remember most about those early days building a company during this tough economy? And this is after the 2008 crash, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember like we had strollers and he'd be on one side of the street and I'd be on the other, and people were so kind. They'd be like, "Oh, I don't have any yard work for you, but your kids are so cute." And I would be like, "And I need to feed them tonight." And literally it was like, we were eating rice and beans and just trying to like survive. So I think people today, they look at us now and think we've always been a big business. And when we tell our story, it's hard for people to really believe that that's how it started. But it's true.
Yeah, it's why it's one of the reasons why I love talking to entrepreneurs, because I love hearing these stories, and so many of them are so inspiring too, right? And so when you look back at those many day, let's say the minivan and trailer days, right? What do you think that season taught you about business and really about yourselves and as a family?
Well, I knew that my husband and I both were very hard workers. We grew up on farms that, we had to get up and do chores before and after school. So work all day on Saturdays. So I knew that we had a very strong work ethic. I knew we knew how to grind. Um, and I think that it taught us that we could work together. He still worked nights at a factory. I still wanted to be, technically a stay-at-home mom, but I was always involved in the business. Um, so he would work all night. We'd do landscape during the day. Um, Literally some nights we would like pass in the middle of the night. I'd put the kids to bed and stay up and work on book work. Yeah, it was just a season of survival.
Yeah. I mean, isn't it crazy how when you look back at those days, you wonder how did we make it? Like,
Yeah, it's like I'm not sure when we slept, but somehow we did.
yeah, that's the part, you know, nobody hears a lot about. I mean, especially with social media, they glamorize this business ownership and, all the perks and this and that. They never talk about like what you described, right? That
Yeah.
never, you don't hear that. You don't see that in these reels or things unless you dive into, these conversations that we're having now. So, at what point did ZebraScapes go from we're trying to survive to hey, we really have something here?
Yeah, so we started the business in 2009, and then in 2013 we became licensed foster parents, and we took in a daughter named Ella, and we adopted her in 2014, and we were trying to figure out how to get her into the business name since it was TK Haley after our three daughters. And so my husband Rodney had always dreamed of wrapping trucks in zebra stripes and naming it ZebraScapes just to stand out for marketing. And so we decided to rebrand in 2015 and rebranded to ZebraScapes. Wrapped, I don't remember how many trucks we had at the time, but wrapped all the trucks in zebra stripes. And that's kind of when the company exploded in 2015 after the rebrand, because we just got so many calls of I saw your truck, or your truck's in my area, or I see your truck in my neighborhood. And before that we just had an oval logo, and it just doesn't stand out. But when your whole truck is wrapped in zebra stripes, like, it's memorable, people remembered that, and our incoming calls just like greatly increased. So
So,
that's kind of the turning point of a lot of growth in 2015.
wow, so you changed the name, new logo, and then went with the zebra theme, right? And so, um, people are calling, or I guess when you get calls, people are mentioning, "Hey, we see your trucks everywhere. We see the zebra," so it sticks out, right? So, what that teach you about how brand, sticks out or can stick out in people's mind?
Yeah, the brand recognition really, that was big because, um, yeah, we didn't know tons about marketing and advertising, but that really taught us that the brand and recognition is huge. And just being in people's area and referrals from clients is the phone was ringing off the hook by that.
Yeah, I love that. A lot of times people are afraid to make a bold move like that or change the name, right? It's
Yeah.
not that you
Yeah, it's a big investment. You're
yeah.
changing all the uniforms, all the logos, like everything you've already branded, you're changing everything. I remember thinking this is like a $30,000 investment. So it could either take off or it could go south. And it really paid off.
You see that what and so this was you said around 2013,
2015.
2015. Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to one of my best friends literally yesterday. This came up about because he huge irrigation company in Texas, probably the biggest in Texas. He recently sold it, but it was probably around that time frame, maybe a little bit earlier, but he went to the box truck and he wrapped it, and nobody was doing that really back then, especially not irrigation companies. And his whole thought was he kept the same name, but came with a whole new logo, and look for the trucks. So he said it was a game changer, you
Yeah.
know, very similar. So, let's talk a little bit about what makes you guys different, right? So, what do you think your clients see or recognize after doing work with you that would differentiate you guys from other landscape or outdoor living companies in your market?
We really focus on our people and our quality of work. Um, I think that really separates us from our competitors. The barrier to entry for landscaping is very minimal as far as investment. So there's a lot of unlicensed landscapers in our area. So it's hard to compete with that kind of pricing. But what separates us is the way we invest in our employees and then our standards of quality of work that we do. And I think that that really separates us from our competition.
Perspective.
It was hard maintaining the culture as you grow.
Sure.
Um, but just the people feeling like you care for them and you're investing in them, and really care for them in their personal lives as well. You notice people when they're having a hard day, what's going on, how can we help? And then also not just them showing up for work, but really helping them develop in their own skill. And then as a leader, like we want to develop more leaders and, show them a career path. So this isn't just a job, this is a career. And there's a way to move up in this company.
I like all of that. Your people are huge, right? They're the ones out front lines talking to clients and doing the work. So you got to keep them grounded as well. What values do you work hardest to protect as the company gets bigger?
Well, our core values are quality, integrity, and efficiency, teamwork, and relationships. So we're always talking about those five core values, what those mean, what those look like, how we live those out day to day. We try to have four employee appreciation events a year. We just had one this past Friday. That looks like we stop at noon on Friday. We have a big lunch together and then a bunch of team building activities in our yard office area outside. So that's like breaking up into teams across all divisions. So you're intermixing the install guys with the tree guys, with the maintenance guys that don't normally work together, with the office people and the supervisors and the project managers. So everyone's like intermixing with people they don't normally work with on a day to day basis, doing team building activities. And I think it really helps the team see that it's just a lot bigger than just they come to work every day and get in a maintenance truck and go to a property and trim bushes. Um, so they feel a lot of value and appreciation, and they can take more pride in their work as well.
I like that. I like the team day and still making an effort to have those days, right? Being now 75 employees, it's grown quite a bit. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of business owners start to discount that or come up with the reasons why not to do it or why we can't get together instead of just, hey, it's still really important. Let's have a team day. I find most times those days are really fun too. And employees, they enjoy it, right? It's
Yeah.
something different. Let's unwind a little bit. Let's have some fun. Let's break bread. Um, they're still, and they're not out in the field, right? It's just something different. I think it changes up the whole pace too of what they're doing. You guys have a lot of different services that you offer. I'm just curious, is there one that you guys prefer over the other, or is there, one that jumps out at you that, "Hey, we really like this type of project or job or lead?"
Yeah, so about 50% of our revenue is the design, build, construction. So we have a lot of people retire from California here and they want to enjoy their outdoor living spaces. And so we're doing a lot of outdoor kitchens, patios, pavers, turf, outdoor kitchen, or I said that outdoor kitchens, fire pits, pergolas. So like just outdoor living space that you can enjoy because it's almost nice year round here. We don't get a
Right.
lot of snow. Sometimes it can snow huge. The last several years it hasn't snowed hardly at all. So almost year round it's nice that you can enjoy your outdoor living spaces. So about 50% of our business is installing things like that.
So when you guys started off, you weren't offering that, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we were just doing maintenance.
Just doing maintenance. Okay.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you guys to realize, hey, there's this whole other opportunity of outdoor living? Because my guess is that clients were asking, hey, can you do this? Or hey, can you help me with this? So
Yeah, I mean, we did small things in the beginning, like rock jobs and small things, but it took years until we learned pavers and turf and some of those more technical things. And then in 2019, I got so when we started the business, Rodney got the CR21 license, which is the landscaping and irrigation license. And then in 2019, I got the general contracting license, which you need for the pergolas and the more construction oriented projects.
that's a real team effort there.
Yeah, and then right now I'm in the process of getting the pool and solar license. So we're in breaking into the market of installing pools.
Was talking to another same very similar company, almost identical as far as services, but they are now doing pools as well because they were subbing that out, and then they ended up hiring someone that had built pools for years, and then they finally just said, "Hey, we can do this." So now they're in the pool business too. So sounds like a similar path for you guys as
Yeah.
well.
Yep.
When we were talking beforehand, you had mentioned that your husband and daughter have now formed a company too, father daughter construction, right?
Yes. Yep.
So tell us a little bit about that. How did that evolve, and how did all that get started?
Yeah, so our oldest daughter is Trinity. She's 22 years old now, but when she was in high school, she was very interested in construction. She worked for a realtor, and her and Rodney started flipping houses. So they would buy a house that needed work and fix it up and then sell it. And she would kind of manage it and they would work together on it. And she just really enjoyed that. And so when she graduated high school, she went in to be a financial advisor, but learned very quickly she could not sit behind a computer all day, every day. She is very entrepreneurial like Rodney. And so she's so interested in construction, they decided to start father daughter construction in 2024. And they started with more remodels of kitchens and baths, but now they've taken on larger projects like new construction, new additions, decks, patios, bigger projects as well. So it's going really well. They've got 22 employees right now.
Wow. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, she does a lot of sales and then also project managing.
That is so cool that they're working together, and you guys were open to helping her. And what I really like most about that is she realized she didn't want to sit behind a desk, so she went and took action, right? So
Yeah.
I try to I mean, I've got two kids in college, one's graduating this year, in a couple of weeks actually, but into May. But anytime someone asks me, you know, people at work or whatnot, if I hear, hey, I don't like my job, I'm like, well, go find another job. Like you're
Yeah.
22 or 23, you're not, you know.
Yeah. Not
And so like it's almost like I can do that. Like, yes, go find a job, go do something you're passionate about. So I love that she's like, I don't want to be a financial planner. When you were telling me how much you love construction, and you said financial planner, I was like, how does that go together? It
yeah.
doesn't. Well, that's a great story. So I want to talk to you a little bit about marketing. As you know, I told you I'm a digital marketer. You're in the landscape business. Yet we have a lot in common because we run businesses. But um, obviously, the wraps of the truck's been huge. It's probably still a big part today. You've got this huge brand. You're the Zebra landscape company. What else are you doing that is working for you as far as marketing? I like to call them channels, right? What channels are your best channels currently for driving in leads?
So we do social media marketing like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We have an in-house marketing person that runs all of that. So he goes out to job sites and does short reels, video clips, that kind of thing. It seems like those are the biggest hits right now. He does that for ZebraScapes and father-daughter. He does
Is he
that with
doing on that social media? Is he going out? He's getting good content right from y'all's jobs, which I love. You're taking your own photographs. So is he going back and just reposting that on your channels?
yes.
Okay. Is he do y'all do paid ads like with Facebook, or is it just all more of a organic posting campaign to get
Uh,
likes, follows, and so forth?
paid ads as well.
Okay. So you're
Yeah,
using that in the paid ads as well, I'm assuming, your own content?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then, like, this past Friday when we had our employee appreciation, he made a lot of reels from that, and that's big. We have lots of hits from that, probably even more than our job posting, like, postings of jobs, like, people love that.
That
We
is
have more
great.
comments and views on that. Um, and then I mentioned when we talked earlier, we live on a 10-acre ranch and have 3 Airbnbs, and we have live zebras. And so we live on a pretty main road, and our zebras we use for marketing. And so also around town, we have metal zebras placed in different places around town. It's kind of a thing in Prescott. A lot of people are like, "Why are there so many zebras around here?" And then people talk about it and about our business. And so um, we've branded pretty well with that, just physical things as well.
The I love the zebras. I told you my daughter loves zebras. She's like loves them. So what about as far as generating leads off of Google? Are you guys actively running like LSA or service ads, paid ads?
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
Assuming you get organic leads too off the website.
Yep. All of those. Yeah, we got paid LSA ads from Google, and we get ads from or we get leads from our website every day as well.
So does your marketing manager handle that as well, or do you do it and work with an agency?
No, our in-house marketing guy does all of that.
Okay,
And
great.
then
Yeah. So
he does um like last month we were featured on the Green Living magazine. So they did a cover story on me and my oldest two daughters, like women in leadership in business. And tomorrow, actually, we have a photo shoot of the six of our whole family. So Rodney and I and our four daughters. Um, for foster care awareness is in May, on another local magazine, because we were in foster care and adopted a daughter. They're doing a story. And so then they talk about ZebraScapes and father daughter construction and then foster care. So I feel like we have a lot of recognition in the community just from those types of things. Our in-house marketing guy gets a lot of those types of things too, of like print marketing.
yeah, I mean, I talk to businesses all the time, right? And I tell a lot of companies, I mean, at some point you reach a certain level, it does make sense to bring it in house if you can find the right person, right?
Yeah.
The other thing too, I always like to try to talk from experience, right? Not like, hey, do this, just like my experience, right? And talking to clients, their experiences. It's also so they can handle everything. Or we've worked with a lot of companies that they have internal marketing and they may do XYZ, but they're not. I like it when they're not, they say, hey, we're not proficient like in Google ads, right? We could really use help there. It's usually the marketing guy just being really open and transparent, right? And like, hey, I could really use help here because it's not my specialty, but it's important. So um I like that you guys take it in house. It sounds like he's doing a great job. Did he build the site too? The website? Or
No, he did not. No.
think the site. I liked the site. I thought it looked really good and clean and flowed well. I thought it was a good looking site. So kudos to that. I don't know if you guys worked with a different agency there, but I did like it. I thought it was is that a fairly fresh build, or have you
Yeah.
had that look for a while? Is it okay? It
Yeah.
looked kind of fresh to me. I don't know what it was. I guess looking at websites the past 20 years, or I'd say a good 15, I kind of have a like, so tell them they look a little dated. And kudos for having it updated if it was recent, because a lot of business owners will just let it sit forever and not like when we build a site, I always tell them, hey, this is just version one. All right. You want
Yeah.
to keep this thing fresh. And and updated as well. So before you had someone in house, did you work with an agency? And if so, I'm just curious if you can recall any frustrations or pain points working with agencies. I know I'm in that space, so believe me, you won't offend me, but I always find it interesting to see if I hear anything different from what I've heard from other past owners. I see you laughing and smiling, so you probably
Yeah.
have some horror stories. So, would you mind sharing a little bit? Maybe just some of those pain points that you experience?
I felt like they were very good at billing us, not great at delivering.
Very good ability to not deliver it.
Yeah,
Did you work with several different ones before you said, "Hey, let's just bring it in house"?
yeah, we did. I just felt like it was very, very expensive and the return on investment, we just didn't see it. They promise you the sun, moon, and stars, but I just didn't see the delivery of it. And when we found our in-house guy, he almost seemed too good to be true, but he's really delivered well. So he's only about 5 months into his position, and he has like really, really turned our marketing around. He's done so well. So we're really thankful to have found him. He saved us a lot of money from what we were paying for outside source.
Side source. I hear that a lot. What you mentioned, I hear all the time, and I don't. I've never understood that because it's given the agency world a bad name, right? I hear all the time, "Hey, Todd," or someone on our team, are like, "Hey, that sounds great, but we heard that before. What makes you guys different?" And so we're already fighting this negative, perception of how we're going to be before we even get started. So luckily, we've been able to turn that around and just kind of put proofs in the pudding, so to speak. Old school saying there.
Yeah.
Um, back up our core values that we want to deliver to clients. So I'm not sure why everybody promises the moon and under delivers, other than kind of like the landscape. It's low cost to barrier entry to get into this space to be a digital marketer. You could be a one man band, and so I just think people promise the moon knowing they'll never deliver, and they don't have any kind of moral compass, I guess, and they know they can collect some money. We'll do that as many times as we can, just throw it up on the wall and hope, some of this sticks for long term. In the meantime, for agencies like us who I think do it the right way, it kind of gets us off to a bad foot or I guess some extra steps we have to go to really build trust. So glad you found your internal person. It sounds like it was meant to be. So and I love that he's doing a good job for you and you feel like the return is actually there because that's the other thing with marketing. I always tell people, I've had so many business, I just want my marketing to like break even. And I'm like, you don't want to break even. Like we want to make money, right? We want to have a return on the investment. So I've always thought that is interesting too. People, I just need to break even. I'll be happy. No, we want to make you money. Like we want you to know that I'm paying X, it's bringing in Y, right? So the return is positive. What about AI? I got to ask you real quick on AI. Is your internal marketing guy? Have you guys have an AI strategy? So when people are typing in these long-winded questions into ChatGPT or other LLMs, large language models as they call them, that you guys are showing up.
Yeah, so Rodney, my husband, is like super into AI, wants to be ahead
Cool.
of the curve on that.
Love it.
So he works with the marketing guy on all of that stuff. So in every area of our business, we're trying to stay up on that and how we can integrate that. And we have we're using that with our sales team and just different things. So yeah, as much as we can use AI in streamlining anything we can, we're trying to use that.
Yeah, we found some really just some key pillars, I think, with AI. Authoritative content, as far as your site. FAQs are really big because it's helping answer questions. People are typing in one of the acronyms, AEO, answer engine optimization, right? Is what they're calling one of the things is for this new marketing, right? So SEO, search engine optimization, um, FAQs, authoritative content, reviews, which you guys have great reviews. Keep stacking those reviews. So really, just building trust and authoritative, and you being the expert, we have found has really helped our clients and our own brand from kind of these early stages. So just a little more experience share there. I'm sure your guys digging into it. And it sounds like your husband Rodney's digging into it too. So
Mhm.
love that. I love when I see leads come in from ChatGPT or other platforms because a lot of times our clients don't even know they're getting them until we tell them. They're like, "Really? Oh, well, I did have someone mention that it showed up on AI." All right, well, let's kind of wind down. I've got a couple of more questions I wanna ask you. Um, what do you think the big takeaway would be from that experience of me shadowing them out in the field or working with them?
Um, I think that you would see that we have a high level of communication with our clients and with each other, and a high level of accountability. So I would say that was probably one of the hardest moments of the journey, that we grew so fast. We didn't have the structure to support it, but that is one of the most important things looking back, is that the accountability of the team, knowing every week they're accountable for their KPIs and knowing they're coming to the meeting prepared to give an answer for those, um, has been just a game changer for us. So I think that you would see that everybody takes accountability for their divisions and owns them like they're the owner of it. And that's really been a game changer for, I would say, the past year and a half.
I think that's one of the hardest challenges is try to get your employees or team members, leaders to think like owners. And
Yeah.
I don't know if they ever fully do because they're not. But if you can get close, right, or at least get them thinking that way, I think it's a huge win, right? Um, I'm curious also what advice you'd give to homeowners. Any advice you could give to homeowners?
Yeah, I would say, like, make sure they're licensed, bonded, and insured, and make sure you're checking their Google reviews and how long they've been in business. Um, and asking, for referrals in the community.
So you've been on this journey since 2009, right? And
Yep.
so we're 17 years in, is that right?
Yeah.
So what are you most proud of when you look at ZebraScapes today?
I'm most proud of just the family owned business and being able to raise our daughters to, teach them business and family, and the legacy that we've created. That we not only care about our employees as employees, but as people, and to grow more leaders. Um, and yeah, just to develop a well-known business in our community and be a great asset in our city.
You've mentioned community a lot in our talk today, so I can tell you're really proud to have that impact on the community. I think that's really special. Are there any podcasts you're listening to that you could recommend? If not a podcast, any book you read recently?
I listened to the Craig Rochelle leadership podcast. I think it's a great leadership podcast. It's given me a lot of leadership advice that I often pass down to my leaders. 8 habits of successful leaders. I've built we have a leadership meeting every Monday morning. So I've built PowerPoint presentations off things I've learned from that to present to our team. So that's a great leadership podcast that I listen to faithfully.
And trying some different things. I'm curious, Denise, do you have a favorite quote that you could share with us? And I'm putting you on the spot. One of my favorite ones, I'll give you an example, is the truth requires no memory. So I was told that years ago, and I love it because if you just speak the truth on the truth, you don't have to try to remember, what you said if you got caught in a pickle. So the truth requires no memory has always been one of my favorite quotes. Do you have anything you could share with us that you like?
Yeah, so I'm going to give you two, a personal one and a business one. So my
Okay, I
personal
love it.
one is love God and love people. And my business one is trust but verify.
Trust but verify. I love that too. Um, That is something new I've been adding recently, the podcast and the quote, and I've been getting some great answers. So I've created some new lists for that as well on my quotes because I love quotes. I love being able to share that with other people as well. This is my last question. So somewhere out there, there's a young Denise, right? And she wants to be a business owner. She's an entrepreneur. Wants to be an entrepreneur. Might be scared, ready to jump. Maybe she has jumped. But what advice would you give someone wanted to start a landscape outdoor living company, um, what would you say to that person?
I would say that you should go for it. You'll live in regret if you never try, and failure helps you learn either way. So go for it.
Go for it. You don't know what you don't know, so just go for it. I love it. Well, Denise, it's been great visiting with you. I appreciate your story. You have a very inspiring story. Not a lot of people will just start knocking on doors, right? And start, knocking on doors asking for business. So thanks for being on here. It's been great to visit with you and get to know a little bit more about you and your family. And love the zebras, love the message, love that you guys are so involved in your community as well.
Well, thank you. It's been great to be here. I appreciate you inviting me.
Yeah, 100%. I'd love to keep connected with you. So that's it for today. Have a great weekend. Happy Easter. Easter's around the corner.
Yeah,
And I
you
hope to
too.
visit with you again soon.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.